Back to the audio sound bites. This is NPR, the Diane Rehm Show. Diane Rehm still has it. Wow. Okay, cool. Well, anyway. Oh, there's a fill-in host. Okay, Melissa Ross. And E.J. Dion Jr., the Washington Post columnist, is a guest. They're talking about the presidential campaign and Trump. And the guest host says, now, some people are saying, E.J., that this split in the Republican Party is only between professional politicians and the people, that Trump is within the law and saying what our president should be saying.
We are talking as if Donald Trump is speaking for the people in a big way. Let's look at his numbers. If he is getting 30%, that's a high end of the average in the polls, of the Republican and Republican-leaning independent, 40% of the electorate, that is 12% of Americans. Now, 12% is a lot of people. It can support Rush Limbaugh's radio show very handsomely. It can win a bunch of Republican primaries because the proportion of Republicans who call themselves very conservative has almost doubled, very conservative, has almost doubled over the last 20 years. So, yes, he can win in primaries, but that doesn't mean he is speaking for anything like a majority of the country.
Oh, they're so hoping that's true. Oh, they're talking amongst themselves and they're assuring themselves that Trump is still really just a speck on the wall. He's just a minor player. It's just this extreme base of the Republican Party. How do I end up in this? 12% of Americans, that's a big number of people. I can support the Rush Limbaugh show very handsomely. But, EJ, you better, I think, recalculate some of your data here with some of the polls that have just been released today. This is, poll data came out after EJ's appearance last night or yesterday on NPR. Carly Fiorina, jumping forward to soundbite number 12. She's on CNN's New Day today with Chris Cuomo, who said, look, Trump seems to be connecting with voters in the way that you and the rest of the field are not. I mean, don't you have to give him his due?
Donald Trump knows how to play the media like a master. I think he's a Pied Piper. I think he says things and you all rush to cover it. Every single network. I'm not being critical of CNN any more than anyone else, but he knows how to dominate the news coverage, and I think it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in the polls. I'm not saying he doesn't resonate with voters. Voters are deeply afraid, and voters are very frustrated. And in a way, Donald Trump is a reaction to the unbelievable weakness and delusional nature of national security policy from Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton.
Now, that's fine as it is, but it inspires a question here. Donald Trump knows how to play the media like a master. I think he's a Pied Piper. I think he says things, and you all rush to cover it, every single network. I'm not being critical of CNN, but he knows how to dominate the news coverage, and I think it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, is this by accident? This is my point that I've been trying to make, maybe clumsily, I maybe should admit, but all week I have been trying to explain Trump's ownership of the media and dominance, but it's not accidental. It's not just because of who he is. Once again, if you can sit there, if anybody can sit there and analyze this and chalk it up to, well, he's a Pied Piper. Yeah, he plays the media like a master. Well, if he can, why can't anybody else? Trump's showing it can be done, so why is he the only one who's doing it? And I'm not putting people down. It's a legitimate question because there are legitimate substantive answers to it. And the answers rely in content, and substance, and not just theatrics. It's not just Pied Piperism. It's not just propagandaism. There is substance here that Trump owns. He's the only one willing to say some things. He happens to have an engaging personality, a charismatic personality. Not everybody has one of those. But even if you do, a charismatic personality. There are a lot of people who would love to be able to own the media. It's not just something that happened, and you can't blame the media for it. They would love for it not to be the case. They can't afford not to cover the guy. Their ratings depend on it. That's the dilemma, the conundrum they have. They can't afford not to cover him. They have to if they want to maintain an audience. And once that's they have to cover him the way he wants to be covered, because there's so much coverage. If somebody tries to screw him, there's a record of what really happened on the next network. So they can't get away with the traditional ways of editing and sabotaging, because everybody's covering Trump. So in a sense, Trump doesn't even need them. He can go directly to the people with his Twitter account, his Facebook, whatever. He can go straight to. He doesn't even need the media. The media is like icing on the cake for him. But it's not just because it's happenstance. It's not because it just happened. It's not because it's a quirk of fate. Just like it wasn't with Reagan. There are specific, substantive reasons why somebody, Donald Trump in this case, has been able to come along and totally render the media impotent.